it's Jessii Vee, and today we're gonna be talking about sleepwalking. I actually got inspired to make this video after my TikTok friend Selena Spookyboo started posting a bunch of TikToks showing her sleepwalking at night, and she's so hilarious. Check them out if you haven't. But then I was like, maybe I should research sleepwalking and see if I could find any creepy stories, and you know me, I did. So that's what we're gonna be talking about today, but before I get started, in case you have not seen my last video, I have a new backdrop behind me. This is like a sci-fi steampunk bookshelf, if that makes sense. I have done a bookshelf theme before, and this one is super different. Every single part of the backdrop, there's something different happening. I love it. And if you would like to win, all you have to do is follow my Twitter account. It's just Jessii Vee. And throughout the month, if I see you liking things, retweeting things, commenting on things, I will choose you. And also, don't forget, if you would like a Valentine's Day mystery box, I have linked it down below. We are down to the wire, guys. Almost gone. All right, so without further ado, let's get sleepwalking. Not actually though. I don't think I'd want to do that. So the medical term for sleepwalking is actually somnambulism. Did I say that right? It involves getting up and walking around while in a state of sleep. It's more common in children than adults, and sleepwalking is usually outgrown by the teen years. So most of the time you'll actually see a child sleepwalking instead of an adult, but obviously it can happen to both. Isolated incidents of sleepwalking often doesn't signal any serious problems or require treatment. However, reoccurring sleepwalking may suggest an underlying sleep disorder. I just want to know why in like every picture of a person sleepwalking, they have their arms out like this as if they're a zombie. I feel like that's not realistic. I think I've sleepwalked once in my life, and I think I made a video about it a while ago, but my husband Ty has actually done it a few times in front of me. This one time, I think it was about a year ago, I watched him get out of bed at like 4 in the morning. He walked across the bedroom, opened the door, walked out into the hallway, and put his phone on the banister of the stairs. Like literally balanced it on the little banister, then turned around and walked back and got into bed. And the next morning he was like,
Jess, why is my phone out in the hallway on the banister?
and I had to tell him, and he had no memory of it. So yeah, people just do strange things while they're sleepwalking. Sleepwalking usually occurs early in the night, often 1 to 2 hours after falling asleep. You'll know a person is sleepwalking if they get out of bed and they're walking around aimlessly. They could just sit up in bed and open their eyes for a while. They may not communicate with others, and they usually don't remember the episode in the morning. But sometimes they remember what they were dreaming, if that makes sense. Sometimes a person who is sleepwalking will do routine activities like getting dressed, talking, or eating. Sometimes they'll try and drive a car, which is not good. Sometimes they'll get injured by falling down the stairs or jumping out a window. And some people even become really violent while they're sleepwalking, which isn't good. So I'm gonna tell you 3 instances of real sleepwalking stories. The first one is called the crocodiles. We're already off to a good start here. This is about a man named James Currens, and he had been a sleepwalker for most of his life, but something really scary happened to him when he was 77 years old. This incident happened in 1998. He got up and sleepwalked out of his house, his cane in one hand, and he literally walked right into a nearby pond. He woke up chest deep in the water, but was unable to get out as he had become stuck in the mud. Now, this would be terrifying for anyone waking up in the middle of a pond, not able to move. But what made the incident really frightening was that he found himself surrounded by alligators. Oh, so they're alligators, not crocodiles. Why is it called the crocodiles? Now, he actually had to use his cane to keep them at bay. So it's a really good thing that he sleepwalks with his cane with him, I guess. One of his neighbors ended up hearing him screaming, and they called the police. And using lights to scare off the alligators, the police managed to free Currens. And he escaped with only a couple cuts on his body that were really minor, so he did not get eaten, thank goodness. The next story is called Girl on a Crane. A man was walking home at 2 a.m. in Dulwich, England, when he somehow noticed something terrifying. A girl curled up on top of an inactive crane. Now, obviously, right away when he saw this, he immediately called emergency services. They were calling up to her, asking what she was doing. She wasn't answering. She was literally curled up on top of the crane. So the firemen had to climb up and then notice that she was actually asleep. And this made the ordeal even more frightening because the fireman was now afraid to wake her in case she became startled and fell. He saw that she had this cell phone in in her pocket, so he took it out and managed to call her parents. They explained that their daughter, who was only 15 years old, had a problem with sleepwalking. And they said whenever she did it, all they had to do was ring her phone and it would wake her up. So they did that, the girl woke up, they took her to safety, but this is insane. She apparently had climbed 130 feet up in the air and went 40 feet across the crane. Are you kidding me? How did she not fall? And this last story is called Bugs on the Walls. There's a story of this one girl who has night terrors on the regular, and sometimes her sleepwalking combines with her nightmares. So she often wakes up in her bedroom and sees that her walls are covered in bugs. So she jumps out of bed trying to escape her room and often runs out of the house and runs down the road screaming. So people outside often think she's being like kidnapped or something, so they go over, wake her up, and she has to explain that she has this sleepwalking issue. Imagine waking up every night seeing bugs all over your walls. That would be horrible. This actually reminds me of a really creepy incident that happened to me when I was probably, I would say, 8 years old. I may have briefly mentioned this story in the past, but I went to this sleepover and there was about 12 or so girls there, and there was this one girl, we'll name her Heather, and after we had all fallen asleep, suddenly a couple of the girls woke up because we heard this humming sound. So we sat up and looked in the corner of the room, and Heather was just standing there looking at all of us. Her eyes were open and she was going like just like doing this monotone hum over and over again. And so I turned to my friend and I was like, what is she doing? Why is she standing there like that? And my friend told me that she had this issue where she would often get up in the middle of the night and stand in the corner of the room and like make a noise, either humming or like a word over and over again, or like a weird silent scream, if that makes sense. It's like when someone stands there and they're like and like no noise is really coming out, just air. My friend also explained to me that this other time at a sleepover, she went over to the fridge, opened the freezer up, and started dropping ice cubes over and over on the floor. And whenever she would drop one, she would scream so loud. And I think that was one of the first experiences I ever had with actually witnessing someone sleepwalk or doing something while they were sleeping. And like the next day we told Heather what happened and she totally owned it. She was like, yeah, I do that all the time. Sorry if it scared you. Like, it's just what I deal with. So she wasn't worried about it at all. She actually liked to hear the stories of the things that she would do in the night. But like, guys, imagine waking up at your friend's house and she's in the corner of the room like, It was like a really weird sight to see. Anyway, so guys, please comment down below if you have any creepy sleepwalking stories, if you've ever sleptwalked, or if you've witnessed someone doing it before. I just find this topic to be very interesting. Actually, even my husband Ty said that when he was a kid, he would walk into his parents' bedroom and like stand in a corner watching them. So was like standing in a corner a norm for sleepwalking or something? Because when Ty and I were first dating, he was like,
if you ever see me in the corner of your room at night, don't be afraid, I'm just sleepwalking and watching you.
I was like, oh my gosh, what are you, like Edward Cullen? Anyways, that has never happened, thank goodness. Anyway, so guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, if you want to enter to win this backdrop, just go over and follow my Twitter account. And the Valentine's Day boxes are linked down below, but I hope you have an awesome rest of your day and I will see you in my next video. Bye!